Henrietta Lacks is one of the most important figures in modern medicine you may have never heard of. Before she died of cancer back in 1951, doctors took her cells without her consent, and then they were used in countless medical breakthroughs. But her family was never compensated until now. Yesterday, attorney Ben Crump announced a settlement with a biotech company her family claims profited off of her cells. Jerika Duncan has more on her story.
Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to What's the 411 News. And today we have in the news the family of Henrietta Lacks gets a win for her stolen stem cells. All right. For her stolen stem cells. They've been using her cells for years. All right. That's a fact. They've been using her stem cells, her cells for years to come up with vaccines and to further the advancement of curing things like the AIDS virus and so on and so on. Even we're talking about cancer, man. So how's everybody doing? Welcome back to What's the 411 News. And we're going to take a look real quick. And the family, like I said again, the family won. Has apparently, I think they might have settled out of court. We're going to look into some details and find out if that's the actual case. All right. But nonetheless, it's starting to get recognized that it gets real deeper when you take a look at things and you think about things. And we're going to take a look at a video real quick. But before we do that, you have to start thinking to yourself. Now, Henrietta Lacks was a person that you might know publicly, but then how many other Henrietta Lackses were there that they took cells from dead bodies of black people and found out, hey, these black folks have some superpowers in their cells, and they using people's cells, and they were creating all kind of things, taking the melanin from the skin, the black skin, and using it to formulate the covering for the space shuttle and other things like that. People don't realize how deep this really goes. This is just one person. How many others have there been that a lot of these scientific companies won't tell you about, nor tell other families who they took the cells from sneakily? All right. So let's get into the video real quick, and I'll get back with you on the other side. All right. So let's check this out.
Happy birthday!
Henrietta Lacks' family rang in her birthday Tuesday with a present they fought for years to secure, a settlement for an undisclosed amount, cementing her impact on the field of medicine.
My grandmother gave the world a gift 70 years ago, and we're here today to give her a gift of justice.
Doctors at Baltimore's Johns Hopkins Hospital harvested Lacks' cells without her knowledge in 1951, a practice they've insisted was common at the time. But after she died, her cells would become the first human ones to be grown and replicated outside the body. Now known widely as HeLa cells, combining the first two letters of her first and last name, they've contributed to the development of vaccines for everything from polio to COVID and to Nobel Prize-winning cancer research. Lacks' family accused biotech company Thermo Fisher of making billions in profits from innovations tied to her cells. In a statement Tuesday, the company said the parties are pleased that they were able to find a way to resolve this matter outside of court.
Today certainly was poetic justice.
Attorney Ben Crump began working with Lacks' family 2 years ago. He says this is just the beginning, and he expects other pharmaceutical companies to, quote, do right by Lacks.
A lot of people just think of the HeLa cell as a cell and a product, but she was a woman. She was a mother, a grandmother.
Alfred Carter is one of Lacks' grandchildren.
People know that what happened to Henrietta Lacks was wrong, but we're all here together to make things right.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Jerika Duncan.
All right. So yeah, y'all heard it first. You heard it here. The family has won. Looks like it's a settlement out of court. Let's see if we got some other information real quick. All right. So yeah, there you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into this article real quick and see if there's any other details that we need to know about here. All right. So let's get into it. So yeah, the family of Henrietta Lacks wins settlement for her stolen cells. All right. After a 2-year legal battle, the family of Henrietta Lacks has reached a settlement agreement in the case for her cells, unethically harvested by doctors over 70 years ago, sold in products by countless companies. All right. The long awaited victory is the result of a lawsuit against Thermo Fisher Scientific. Looks like a 200 and, or is it 2.17 billion, or 217 billion biotech company that profited. I guess they're making 217 billion. What? That's what these guys are making. You know, you got to break off the family with several $billion for sure. For sure, you got to definitely break them off. All right. So, biotech company that profited from the use of the HeLa cells. When you take Henrietta Lacks, you take the HE in Henrietta, and then the LA in Lacks, and you come up with HeLa, the HeLa cells. All right. Again, attorney Ben Crump, who represents the family, announced the estate's historic win at a press conference that was held in Baltimore. All right. The members of the family of Henrietta Lacks and Thermo Fisher have agreed to settle the litigation filed by Henrietta Lacks' estate in the U.S. District Court in Baltimore. He said before a crowd at Canton Waterfront Park. The terms of the agreement will be confidential. Interesting. I love to know what the terms of that agreement was. That's always interesting how they want to keep that a secret. And like I mentioned before, how many other Henry Laxes are there out there? One of your family members, they might have been taking cells from and creating all types of stuff from themselves. More cures, vaccines, using the again the melanin in black people, and my understanding that's already been used to create different types of protection. Might be involved in making another form of scabs through the black people's melanin. See, again, this goes real deep because these are the things that should be in actual Black American history as well, and doesn't get told how they could take your cells and have been using them, because during slavery and Jim Crow and all that, they've been taking black people's cells and they've been doing experiments on them. The ones you know about, the Tuskegee, that's just one of many experiments that's been going on. There's been plenty of experiments. So yeah, it really goes deep, and this looks like there's probably gonna be down the road many other companies like Thermo Fisher that's gonna have to make some private settlements, confidential agreements, if you will. All right, so let's get back into this article here. All right, so again, members of the family of Henrietta Lacks and Thermo Fisher have agreed to settle the litigation filed by Henrietta Lacks' estate in U.S. District Court in Baltimore. He said before a crowd at Canton Waterfront Park. The terms of the agreement will be confidential. The parties are pleased that they were able to find a way to resolve this matter outside of court, and will have no further comment about the settlement. I would say something, but I'm going to hold off. The Lacks family stood near the podium holding a poster-sized family portrait and a bouquet of balloons to honor Lacks on what would have been her 103rd birthday. Ron Lacks, the son of Lacks' only living child, 86-year-old Lawrence, stepped up to the mic. He recalled his father losing his mother to a Hail Mary because the Lacks family wasn't getting nowhere in the fight for justice. He said, "Son, see if you can take this to the finish line for me." And I tried, Ron said. The fight against those who profit and chose to profit off of the deeply unethical and unlawful history and origins of the HeLa cells will continue, according to Chris Ayers' attorney. Lacks died from cervical cancer in 1951 after being abused by doctors. Now, check this out now. Lacks died from cervical cancer in 1951. All right. In 1951, after being abused by doctors at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Okay. Where her cells were stolen. In a previous interview, Ron said his father watched his mother die and struggled to get justice in an unjust system. For a long time, he couldn't talk about his mom because of the trauma that he went through. I mean, because my dad, he watched his mother die, he said. Ron wrote a book about Lacks whose cells were unlike any other in history. Rather than dying off, they multiply every 20 to 24 hours. So even after Henrietta Lacks died, even after she died, her cells still continued to multiply instead of dying off. She had cells that lived on even after she died, and it just continued multiplying, multiplying, and multiplying every 20 to 24 hours. All right. Again, I say, how many other black folks is out there that these companies like Thermo Fisher, that short as others, have been taking your family members' cells and not telling you they cells have power in them, right? So again, rather than dying off, Henrietta Lacks' cells would multiply every 20 to 24 hours. When doctors discovered this, scientists began using her cells to advance medicine. If you have had a vaccine, had a shot, if you benefited from any medical research or advancement, then it's not a great stretch to say that you got a little Henrietta in you, according to Crump. All right. Thermo Fisher Scientific isn't the only company responsible for producing and selling medical products with Lacks' immortal cells. So again, Thermo Fisher Scientific isn't the only company. I'm sure these other companies' names are going to come up and the family's going to get broke off some more money, which they should. All right. Attorney Chris Ayers, who worked alongside of Crump on the case, says, "Stay tuned because the legal battle isn't over. The fight against those who profit and chose to profit off of the deeply unethical and unlawful history and origins of the HeLa cells will continue," he said. As Ben said, the HeLa cells were not derived from Henrietta Lacks. They are Henrietta Lacks. Her cells live today. And for those who chose to sell, mass produce without their permission or consent, without compensation to the family, we'll see them in court. All right. So yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. All right. There you go. It took Henrietta Lacks' cells. She died, and her cells, even after she died, continue to form and multiply every 20 to 24 hours. And again, like I said, I'm kind of repeating myself, but I'm sure there's more families out there whose loved ones died and they was experimenting with themselves, because all through slavery, Jim Crow and everything, they continued doing experiments with black people and finding things out. And to this day, there's a lot of families that probably don't know, but you need to start doing some research. And a lot of you can thank Henrietta Lacks when you end up getting cured or feeling way better than you have from a lot of different ailments, because they took her cells and used them to make you all feel better. All right. This is a black woman. Okay. So you guys let me know what you think, man. And put it in the comments. I appreciate y'all, man. This is deep, because like I said, it can go way, way deeper than what we going or getting into today, man. There's a lot of things. Like I said, there's probably other families out there who might just start finding out that their family member cells were used as well. All right. So we appreciate y'all, man. Keep on watching What's the 411 News. You know, we're on Facebook, YouTube, now Twitter is called X now, from my understanding. Also on Twitch and Spotify as well. All right. So with that being said, this is What's the 411 News. And I'm out of here. Peace. Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.